Yeah, so another day, tried to hook everything up. So far an update is that we had the car. The car did start on the plug and play ECU, and I did some stuff this morning, and so basically I put these lines in. I have to shorten it, so fuel pressure regulator. This one is going to go to the boost gauge and the ECU. This one I was told to plumb it, like, get from the blow off valve, go all the way around to tee it off here, and the one from the turbo, wire it up all the way down there. That's the wastegate at the bottom there. See, focus on it right there. Wastegate down there, and this with exit exhaust. I don't know. That's just that for now. But this, it's kind of, I have to make that a bit shorter, and like this sensor, O2 sensor, I have to try calibrate it. Now, I did organize power and ground and put in the signal cable for the I had to pin this connector. Which pin did it go to? I think it went to, I don't know, that don't matter. So I soldered it on and all of that. I pinned the connector, and I'm going to try do a little run. The tuner told me, so now down there is a mess right now, but tuner told me to try my best to put everything together and calibrate the sensor. So that is what I'm going to try to do. And yeah, not everything is in, I don't know what I'm going to do with down there. I'm going to try to clear that out, put stuff in a box, and then I'm going to try to take out this OBC pad right there. So I'm going to try to take it out and put the gauge right there, because the gauge is a combo gauge. The gauge does boost. It does boost, and it does air fuel ratio. So yeah, it's a combo gauge. So instead of having two gauges, I have one that shows both. I like that, but yeah. So far, I'm going to try to see what I can do in terms of routing wires or just organizing some stuff. So if this happens and this works, all I need is tires and maybe some chassis bracing and stuff like that. So yeah, because I have new wheels and everything. So yeah, just a little update. So you see the workstation, in progress. Yeah, everything in progress. But yeah, and I was following YouTube. I had to put the oil pan back, try follow people's instructions. It was helpful, but I had to do that on my own because the tuner was coming the next day. Shout out to GearHeadz, and but did that oil pan by myself. It was quick, well, not quick. It was quicker than expected, and yeah, it turned out good. Yeah, so car still lifted. I don't think I'm dropping any oil. That was steering fluid on the floor there. But you see that? You see oil pan sealed properly. You put silicone and all. Everything. Oil return proper. Yeah. So everything good. Yep. I tried to organize my ground here, right? For the gauge, but I didn't go with that. I just let the gauge ground over there on the other side. Take the light just in case. Now I used a fuse tap to power the gauge and I grounded it right here. And the fuse tap, I think that was pin 21. Pin 21 right there. I forgot what I was powering. That one powers it powers the interior amenities like the fan. So a key on start, it powers the fan for the AC and everything like that. So other stuff, not too important. So I spent some time with the multimeter, you know, using the secondary and university engineering and physics classes, you know, use that and I find one, make sure everything good. So now trying to calibrate the sensor and reading it, it says, sensor calibration says once the unit has been wired and the suitable location has been found for both, blah 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 blah. Apply power. I did that, a power cycle, see that it doesn't register the sensor, leave it unplugged, power it down, then power up, and then we'll show O2 heater after 30-60 seconds, display O2 whatever. But the main thing the tuner told me is to make sure that I connect my laptop and see that the value on the gauge is showing the same value on the on the laptop, the same air fuel ratio and all of that after sensor is calibrated. So hopefully everything goes smooth. So yeah, these connectors I use them to power, and they came in handy. So I didn't want to do anything and then after a while I'd probably have to lengthen a wire, lengthen a connection. I want to change the location, so these would make it safe, so I could just disconnect it and route the gauge somewhere else. And this is the gauge. So look, the gauge here, and at the end of the loop you see the two connectors, power and ground. The power is red, you know, and the ground is the black wire, the blue connector right here. So yeah, these can just plug in and out, and I can just change location if needs be. So yeah, so that's just what I mustered up, and I'm going to have to put this boost sensor somewhere. Might use some double-sided 3M tape. Yeah, tape for the win, 3M. I wish they made this ECU the same size as the original OEM ECU, because this mounting shit is a problem. So I won't be able to use a glove compartment, it seems. Trying to fit the thing in with a zip tie. Try and find the hole. Wow, find the hole first. Find the hole first try. Oh God, man. Yeah. Original. Yeah, man. Who texted me? Girl, a ring off me, Sally. So we tried, I had an issue. I turned on the sensor and it was not, it wasn't getting enough power. I checked the error code, it was not getting enough power. Checked the battery, battery was strong enough to crank and start the motor, but you know, we haven't been leaving the motor on to let the alternator charge the battery, so I don't know what's going on. Maybe the alternator bad again. But what happened is I had the battery charged, tested with the multimeter. The battery says it has 12 volts. Well above, but you know the average. Last time I checked it, it said it was fluctuating, you know, 10.3, 10.4 volts right now. So I'll show. See, 12.5. So now we're good. So let's see if we can calibrate the sensor now. So installing the battery now. I'm going to try hang the sensor off the edge of the intake. I mean the exhaust. The exhaust. It's good. It's exposed to air. So basically, for now, it says turn it on without the sensor, the oxygen sensor plugged, and it'll stay on for about 30 seconds or so. And then you have the gauge. We did that already. 1, 2. So see it on. Alright, this will leave it on for about 30 seconds. Yeah, 30 seconds is fair. Everything irie. So next we have to do a power cycle. We have to turn it off, and then when we turn it off, we plug in the sensor to this, and then turn it on and wait for it to flash a code that says O2 heater, O2 HDR. After 30 seconds to a minute, it will say O2 cal, so meaning it's calibrated. So I'm going to turn it off now, cross fingers, and then let's see what's going on. So then we'll see. Hopefully we don't get the error like before, the 12 volt, in the insufficient voltage error, which was error 2. Okay, here goes nothing. Let's plug in the sensor. Sensor plugged in. Okay. One. It's on. Okay. O2 heater is on. Let's hope for the O2 cal. Come on, come on, come on. Come on. Not flashing anything. Come on. Okay, O2 cal. We got it. 22.4. It says here. But it's different from here. Don't know what's going on. It says 2230. I guess it has to be, the parameters have to be entered differently, so let's see what's going on here. Satisfied, at least the sensor is calibrated, so all I have to do is make sure I don't turn it on. All I have to do is make sure I don't turn on the gauge with the sensor being unplugged, and it should save, but calibration is fine, and happy about that. So we're recording today. We are trying to see if the car will work with the O2 sensor. Yeah. So Jarom is here. Jarom from GearHeadz. Trying to see how everything will work. This is definitely not my forte. Started it a while ago and it died, but let's see what happens.
We can just get the ignition timing synced today and get it to idle at a decent air fuel ratio, and we can turn on the wideband and start letting it make decisions, and then from there we can start driving, cleaning it up, and then once we're leak free and kind of ready, we can go to the dyno. So goal is just to get it kind of drivable today. We'll see how it does. Try it again, I'll see it. installed at one value, you could go up or down with that value until it gives you enough pulse width, because you can see the correlation. You know, if we go up to like 50, it'll go up to, you know, maybe 2.5. We go up to like 80, it'll go up to like 4 or 5. And that's just giving it more or less fuel under cranking until you get the engine to start again, right? So all that happened today was we started, and it needs a lot of fuel to start, so it started, and then immediately died and won't start again. This is really common.
Damn, now I realize that YouTube shit, when everybody starting a week cranking on the LS subs and shit. Yeah, so all in all today, did not start, but we still have to try a little bit more when the spark plugs, I guess, are less flooded with fuel. So on to the next. Hopefully something happens next time. Hopefully.
Dead time's at 1.2 milliseconds, okay?
Is that good?
Well, that's just a value of amount. That's the amount of time it's spraying the injector. When we reduce the fuel to try to go leaner than that 12 value, it's probably going lower. So the physical injector takes a certain amount of time to work, and if you tell it less than that time, it can't actually accomplish what it's trying to do.
So you need to be on the dyno to like remap it and stuff?
Yeah, at this point I'll take some RPM samples and load samples and start to build out the table, and then once we build out like the vacuum area, we can get into a little bit of boost and start figuring out like your actual VE and boost and everything. So
okay.
We're getting close to the dyno point.
So you're saying, so if I have to bring it to the dyno, it's safe to drive this slowly up there?
Yeah, like you could do something like this. Obviously this is your idle area. You could either make the idle more rich, or you could just take like everything that's off idle. So like 1100, probably safe to do like 1400, maybe something like that. You could add like 5 or 10%. If it was going like 17 and it wasn't drivable, you add like 10% maybe to go down to like, or 5% maybe to go down to like, you know, 14 and be very drivable. Chances are that's what's going to be needed. I could already kind of see it. Like rich at idle because the injector won't accomplish something that it needs to, but then lean everywhere else because we pulled all the fuel back to idle. So realistically, the injector data was more correct than you realize. Probably like somewhere, I'm guessing the fuel pressure, if we were to check it, is close to like 45 psi. So probably everything's correct. We could change it back.